From the floor of the CME Group, this is Danny Riley on today's Cash Close. I hope I get it right this time. The name of this video, rest day for the S&P. The high of the day in the S&P came in at 208.30 after the open. The low came in at 1996.5 mid-morning, and last we're 1997.5. We're down 2.3 handles. Total volume, 1.2 million minis trade and 2,500 big S&Ps traded in the pit. MOC saw 110 million. Tomorrow we've got I'm going to try and knock this out. Tomorrow we've got a deluge of economic reports. Remember, I said the shortened week had 25 economic reports, and tomorrow we're going to nail a lot of these. Tomorrow starts out with the chain sales number, the Challenger job cut report, the ADP employment report, international trade number, jobless claims, productivity and cost, PMI service index. I don't know where they got that service index part. ISM non-MFG index, the EIA natural gas and petroleum status report. I got that right. And then we've got a 2 and a 10-year note auction. We've got Loretta Meester from the Fed speaking. We've got the Fed balance sheet and money supply. Whatever those two things do, I have no idea. Now listen, what happened today in the S&P was clear to see. The news about the ceasefire came out overnight. Everybody bought up these indices in Asia. Asia closed higher across the board. All the majors in China were up 2 to 3%. And then when I got up at 5 o'clock in the morning, 12 out of 12 markets in Europe were trading higher. So what that tells me is that everybody bought off the news and then left the S&P susceptible to a downside move because all the buying was used up before the 8:30 open. Once the S&P started coming down a little bit, small sell programs and stops. Now the last thing I want to talk about is the Mr. Top Step boot camp that we got coming up. One of the guys in the office asked me to ask the traders and some of our pro traders and some of the newbies what they liked about Mr. Top Step. What were some of the redeeming qualities that they enjoy every day? What I got back was proprietary price forecasting and key range stuff that we put out every day. The other part, is that they like calling out the live levels as they're happening. And that's what we do. And that's what we do all day long. The other part was the proprietary price forecasting and key range levels that we put out all day long. Now, you know what? I think it's important, and I've said this before, and there's a couple, I'm sure there's a lot of other reasons, and I'll mention a couple. But what I've learned about trading, and since all this algorithmic and program trading has taken over, is it really does help to be the minds of the many versus the minds of the few. I want to see as much flow as I can all day long. I want to see it hitting while it's hitting. I don't want to see it a couple seconds after. I don't want people telling me, hey, I bought them on the lows, when they're 4 handles higher. None of that exists in our trading room. But what I think is going to happen is, for those of you that join, you're going to be immersed in information that is nonstop from the open to the close. And you're also going to be part of a team of people that like to enjoy, and also like to share information. To me, that's critical. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is the net changes on the down days over the last month. Now, we had a couple of big down days in the beginning of August, but here, let's look at some of the net changes. On August 12th, the S&P closed down 2.2 handles. On August 22nd, the S&P closed down 1.8 handles. On August 27th, the S&P closed down 1.5 handles. On August 28th, we closed down 0.40 handles. We didn't even close down a whole handle. And on September 2nd, yesterday, we closed down 1.6 handles. And today, we're going to be closing down fractionally again because the futures are popping up a little bit. To me, what this means is that the S&P is back and filling. Now, we went into that, we traded into Friday's low yesterday at 1992.70. We bounced back up. We made a new high. It's my guess that we've already used up a lot of the buying pressure that would have been associated with the beginning of the month buying. and knowing that we have all this economic data coming out tomorrow, and then we've got the jobs number on Friday, I think the S&P can put the brakes on for a couple of days. It needs to back and fill. Sharp moves up overnight, big gap ups. You know that the sellers are going to show up, and that's exactly what they did. Now, last but not least, there's a couple other things I can talk to you about with the Mr. Top Step Bootcamp, but I'll tell you something. When we left Option Monster, when we partnered up with Option Monster, we formed Futures Monster, all they wanted to do was open new accounts. Mr. Top Step is not a broker. All we're concerned about is trying to help people make money and not lose money. And I'll leave it like that, and I'll see you guys tomorrow on the opening print.